Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Journalist Hangout. I am Jones Hussein. Welcome. Now, today, Tinubu denies friction with Buhari, says he has confidence in the president. Federal government rejects Diezani's application for trial in Nigeria, and later on the show, we'll tell you about the Chief of Army Staff ordering a redeployment of troops to the Lake Chad region. I'll be hanging out with Asukwa James. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
There's also Stella Sawyer here.
Thank you.
Not forgetting the inelastic Jamiu Majid. I greet you.
Thank you, Citizen Jones.
So feel welcome, please. Now, the inimitable French dictator and colorful general Napoleon Bonaparte had a peculiar way with words about politics and politicking. He said, let me quote him, "In political administration, no problem is ever simple. It can never be reduced to the question of whether a certain measure is good or not." But perhaps a saying of his that is very instructive is this one. Let me quote him again. "The people to fear are not those who disagree with you, but those who disagree with you and are too cowardly to let you know this." End quote. Now, this profound statement is relevant to the first of our discourses this evening. Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the national leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, is in more ways than one like Caesar's wife, above reproach. He is temperate, just as his politics is. From President Muhammadu Buhari's inauguration on May 29, 2015 through to now, a citizenry largely convulsing with PDP's dashed hopes and shattered dreams of 16 years looked to the future with great expectations, and rightly so. So to the people, the Buhari-Asiwaju Tinubu combination was the elixir, or if you like, the tonic the country needed at that time. Great things were in the offing, or so they thought. Everybody thought. Now, 6 months into the government, a cabinet list had yet to be compiled. A presumptuous citizenry in characteristic style smelt a rat that was not there or defined. This is not to sidestep the composition of the National Assembly leadership, but in politics, everything is not what it seems. Just yesterday, every doubt, every suspicion, and qualms about a friction between the #1 citizen and the Jagaban of Bogu was laid to rest. The Asiwaju himself was hosted behind closed doors by the Commander-in-Chief for about an hour. Tinubu said at the end of the parley that he and the president were not in any frictious mood. That whatever you see is faked. It is missed in its entirety. The reports about his alienation by a cabal at the presidency. He says it's all a myth. So who doubts the astute politician at this point in time? Let's get cracking. Majid, so who doubts the politician at this point in time?
Well, I think I will start by saying that I pity those Nigerians who normally cry more than the bereaved. We are quick to jump to conclusions. Asiwaju is fighting Buhari. Buhari is fighting Asiwaju. There is a cabal somewhere. But Asiwaju was live and direct yesterday. He was on national television after the meeting with the president, and he actually said you don't expect him to divulge what he discussed behind closed doors with the president. But then he was quick to also mention that, one, whoever had that premonition or that thought that there was a friction between himself and the president, should perish that thought. One. Then number two, he spoke about the cabal, and that is fake news, like Trump would say, fake news, and that it's a mere myth. There was no cabal anywhere. But then he also said, when they asked Asiwaju why he's not been very frequent at
seat of power.
He said, when you create a leadership, you allow that leadership to blossom. You don't go and babysit. And I think he also said at a certain forum after that yesterday that Ambode in Lagos is the creation of the Tinubu
machinery.
Yeah, machinery. But have you seen Tinubu in Lagos House of recent babysitting there?
Or the other way around?
When was the last time you saw Ambode in Bodilon? So, and Lagos is moving. Although there was that lecture where Asiwaju suggested a 7-point agenda a couple of weeks ago that actually went viral, and a lot of people came with so many destinations. And it's not by sheer coincidence that it was a day that Asiwaju Tinubu visited Aso Villa that we had the announcement of a new secretary to the government of federation in Boss Mustafa. So when you look at all these things, you want to wonder, politics in Nigeria goes beyond what you see or talk about ordinarily. I mean, for most of us, we talk, we analyze, we do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, there's always a convergence where these leaders and stakeholders meet and settle their
Stella,
themselves.
politics and politicking in Nigeria have assumed a life of its own. It's very peculiar. You cry more than the bereaved. But should the neighbor to the bereaved not cry?
I rather want to answer your question with the quotation you about Napoleon, that in political administration, no problem is easy. It's ever simple, and it can never be reduced to the question of whether a certain measure is good or not. And I would rather want to, use the phrase of Asiwaju. What do you expect him to say? I mean, after meeting with a Buhari, that we all know that he was, if not 80%, maybe we'll give him like 50–60% of how Buhari got, into power. I think he used his machinery. He was a chieftain of APC. He put everything in motion to make sure that APC wins the ticket. And we should also remember that apart from maybe using his, I don't want to use the word money chest, but the vice president is a close associate of Tinubu. I don't think Tinubu will be, I don't want to use the word also stupid enough to come out to say it's in disagreement with
I said
Buhari.
It's temperate.
Temperate, yeah.
So let it be that way.
Yes, with a Buhari whose VP is his own personal person. I think we are looking at politics the way we're looking at it. Oh, it has to be good, right or wrong.
Here and now.
Here and now. But the politician, the Tinubu that I know, is a maverick. He understands Nigerian politics. And, like you said earlier, it does not have to be in Aso Rock every time. It does not have to be in Aso Rock physically for him to know what is happening or for him to put in one or two words, And I want to believe that, though if there's a fraction or if there's a friction, Tinubu will be the last person to come out to say it. He would rather tell you that he has confidence in Buhari. And he doesn't have any reason to say no. Because fine is just 2 years into this administration. It would be a foolish politician that will come out to say, after helping someone to get to the aims of affair, and I'm now losing confidence in the person or I'm not happy with the person. People will take him on serious if maybe in 2–3 years he comes out to say, okay, this is somebody I want you to follow. I think the Tinubu as a politician that Nigerians or most Nigerians are looking at, it's not the real politicians of our time. Let me use that word. Tinubu understands Nigerian politics and he'll play it the way he understands it.
James, so we are talking about two different men, The one, a professional politician, the other, a soldier turned Democrat, you know. A Buhari will make haste slowly. The other gentleman is a politician. He would love to see the dynamics. So, Nigerians are not too particularly off the mark when they begin to read meanings into the so-called no love lost relationship between the two.
The thing is, I think Nigerians, we have so many fifth columnists everywhere. We are trying to create problems where there are no problems, you know. And that is what has been able to bring this gulf between, they are trying to create this gulf between the president and Tinubu. There is no day that Tinubu has ever come out to say that he is in disagreement with the president. No day. Even when, I remember when the president was still in UK, people were saying, Tinubu is not talking to the president. He has not gone to... The next morning, what did we say? He visited him, and the man was happy. He was laughing with the president beside him. You know, so it is we Nigerians. Is it
Nigeria, the Nigerian-ness in us?
In us. The thing is, we doubt when we are not supposed to doubt. That is the problem. We doubt when we are not supposed to doubt. We just believe that, okay, when somebody is not talking, then there is a big problem. It's just like when somebody notices that, okay, there is a husband and wife always quarreling and shouting. The day they don't hear that noise, they will begin to say, there's something wrong. I think, is it that they are not in the house or they are out of something? They want to, you know, investigate.
Yeah.
And in investigating, we begin to bring conjectures which will not even be the real thing. And that is what has happened in this Tinubu-Buhari's case. Because I know that Buhari once has said that Tinubu is a political asset to the party. He has said it several times. Even when Nigerians were saying that Tinubu is, both of them are quarreling and all. Tinubu will not come out. He's a strategist. A political strategist. I've read some of his books, particularly the one written by Segun Ayobolu. Yeah. If you know the things that they wrote about Tinubu, it will be very hard for anybody to say that a Tinubu will quarrel with a Buhari. He might have, just like he said yesterday, he might have some misgivings about one or two things, and which he has said it.
It's only human.
Definitely. In democracy, everybody has every right to say whatever he wants to say. But the thing is, he has made his position. And that was what he did during the lecture.
Yeah.
His 7-point agenda. He said, this is how I think we can move forward. That has not made him to say he wants to go out to he has said it.
It's only human.
Definitely. In democracy, everybody has every right to say whatever he wants to say. But the thing is, he has made his position. And that was what he did during the lecture.
Yeah.
His 7-point agenda. He said, this is how I think we can move forward. That has not made him to say he wants to go out to form another political party. Even when he has not been in the party's maybe campaigns during the Edo and the Ondo, he has always supported the party. He brought this party into existence. And I'm not sure, and I'm very sure, Tinubu will not want to break what he has brought. He has never left his party. He started with AD,
perhaps,
to ACN,
perhaps
to APC.
You want to know that not even a madman who constructs a shack, you know, can go destroy it.
That is it.
Because that is his own shelter.
Yeah. Jamie, sorry. You know, there are no two definitions for democracy. But you get the impression Nigeria must have a totally different definition. There must be a Nigerian-type democracy, a Nigerian-type followership, and so on. There's something wrong there.
Yes. You see, that's why I'm glad that you're even raising that. Babangida once said, when he was in power, he said, the Nigerian economy defies all
known logic.
All theories. I mean, when prices are going north everywhere, we see prices going south or east in Nigeria, and we are happy. The World Bank has continued to measure happiness indices, and Nigerians, with all our suffering and smiling, remains one of the happiest. And we are so idle and jobless. That's why you see most people on Facebook writing about what they don't even know about. And now, look at what happened yesterday. Look at the relationship between Asiwaju and the president. Look at what we saw on national television. I mean, fine, like we all know, there might be some misgivings in some
It's only
places.
natural.
It's only natural, but see, the kind of politician Asiwaju is a maverick. Is a master strategist. He won't, I mean, the way the country is now, it's like those who are clamoring for restructuring. And when I see somebody from PDP who is asking for restructuring now, and I say, what is going on here? You were there for 16 years. You never saw the need for restructuring. Now this man is there for 2 years. You are saying he should come and implement what you guys could not do in 16 years. That is not to rule out the fact that there is need for restructuring. But then what we need to we need to restructure ourselves. The way we think, the way we perceive things, the way we jump to conclusions, the way we even jump to conclusion on this Buhari Asiwaju issue. Because Nigerians, we have written off, and at the point Nigerians said, oh, Tinubu has even left Nigeria. He has relocated. Nobody sees him again. You won't see him. And suddenly, it was in Aso Rock yesterday. And like I said, that significant change, that leadership change, that the appointment of the new SGF yesterday was not a mere coincidence. I mean, there must have been consultations. And if you look at the background of the new guy, that is the boss Mustafa that is coming in, you see that he has always also been part of the ACN and even right from the days of yore. Yeah. So you can see a lot of calculations and also affiliations between the Lion of Bodilon. So for you to, you can't assume with a Tinubu, you can't say this is where he would go. It's such a person that...
There are people who will tell you, but it's in the character of the Nigerian to create mountains out of molehills.
Out of molehills.
Stella, quickly, can we look at this cabal element in whatever we do?
Yeah, well, but the cabal issue...
creation?
The cabal issue may not really be a creation. It may be there, but it has not only religious undertone, but also tribal undertone. You know, Nigerian, we can't rule the fact that we are tribalistic.
Let's do a little bit of history.
Yes.
Was there a cabal during Obasanjo?
There have always been cabals.
Yaradua,
there have always been cabals.
Jonathan.
I mean, we've
so there must be a cabal now.
Yeah, we've always, I mean, well, of course, if you want to quote the wife of the president, she actually, you know, for her to say there are some people, cabal is a group of people who have an interest and maybe they want to force their interest on the larger. That if she said there are some people who are trying to hold our husband, you know, hostage, that means she's openly telling us there's a cabal.
The hyenas and the jackals.
The jackals. So we can't rule out the fact that there are some people who want their interests to be, you know, uppermost. I mean, they don't give a damn what happens to the larger society, but their own interests first. We can't rule that out. But concerning Tinubu and Buhari, see, like I keep saying it, you need to understand a Tinubu. You need to have read a little about Tinubu. You need to have understudied what Tinubu stands for and how he had been operating for years. You know, when he was governor of Lagos State, people saw what he did, and the moment he was ready to leave, it was so obvious that he had created, you know,
a machinery?
Not so just a machinery. It's a lord and master. He's a godfather.
A movement.
A movement on its own. Okay. And it was that movement, and because Lagos is working because of the template he had, you know, put in place. Yeah. And that was why people keyed into the fact that, oh, if a Tinubu is supporting a Buhari, that means things will work out for us. And that is why we have maybe 20 or 30% of his own men in government, you know, those who he believed will carry out, you know, some of the strategies that we had in Lagos. Well, I don't know. Lagos is a state. Nigeria is a nation. So the fact that we're not seeing much impact from his men in governance, I mean, larger society.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, of course, that's another story entirely. But a Tinubu, like I said, cannot quarrel openly with a Buhari because deep down he knew that Buhari is his creation. Give it, take it or leave it. Yeah. Is his creation. Machinery-wise, money-wise, he actually invested in making sure that Buhari gets into power. So even if he's quarreling with a Buhari, he won't come out openly to say, oh. And it will also be wrong of him. This is a government in just 2 years. You can't openly come out and fight or condemn, something you helped to put in place. So if there's a problem, it's just, Buhari definitely will be a phone call away from Buhari. They will talk this issue out. And I'm sure when stories, come out, when we hear stories about a friction or something between them, they may be laughing at us Nigerians. And we'll be killing ourselves, discussing the issue, oh, there's a problem. But deep down, they'll talk to themselves. Look at when he went to visit him in London. I'm sure the first thing Tinubu will tell Buhari is, they said, maybe we are quarreling. Obasanjo style. He may even ask him, is it true? And from the photograph or the pictures we saw on TV yesterday, those are not two men who have frictions. A Buhari will not hide his feeling. Buhari would, from his countenance, you will know if Buhari is happy with you or not. If you have really, really studied him. So, a Tinubu, knowing who a Buhari is, would rather want to call him if they have problem, and they hand it there, not to make it a public
James,
issue.
Again, let's expand the logic here. Nigerians had great expectations at the inception of this, on inauguration morning, as I said in my preamble, the Buhari at Tinubu combination was supposed to be the one that takes us to dreamland, but we are making haste slowly, and so it will fuel this suggestion that Mr. President and the national leader of the party are at loggerheads. You don't blame Nigerians too much, do you?
Well, I don't blame Nigerians too much. Sometimes I used to say, okay, maybe the advisors or the aides that surround the president, maybe they don't know how to, coin the right words for him to use. Because I belong to nobody, I don't, that word,
belong to
everybody, I think that was one of the few statements or phrases that actually started causing friction in Nigeria, If he had, we didn't want him to praise anybody. We didn't want the president. Nigerians, we are not expecting the president to praise anybody because we knew the people who spend their resources and invested in making sure, and also died for the president to become the leader, the president of Nigeria. So we are not expecting. So sometimes I blame the aides, the way they write these words, because when you want the president to come out and say the things that you want to hear, you'll be hearing the opposite, and those are some of the things that actually brought out this, friction that we are seeing. Yeah. So you won't blame Nigerians for that, if you look at it. But like she said, like Sawyer said, we need to give this government the opportunity. They are just 2 years. I'm a Nigerian. We suffered the same thing. We entered the same bus. We buy fuel in the same filling station. We knew how the past administration, in 16 years, they were dribbling us for 16 years. This is just 2 years. Yes, we should be angry. Nigerians should be angry. They have every right to get angry. Why? Because they had, maybe because we depended, the expectation was just too much. And that is why so many people invested time, money, and everything for this government to come in. Because they didn't want to hear any Jonathan. They didn't want to, it was like it is anybody apart from Jonathan then. And that was what happened. So the expectations we are just too high. Everywhere from the north, the south, the east. And so that is why any little thing that the president will be doing or does, Nigerians will want to, read meanings into it. Yeah. So that is where not
unexpectedly.
No, it's not unexpected. No. So Nigerians they have every right to get angry. So that is why he needs people who understand the system, people who understand the language, the body language. Let me use that because it was body language they started with. The body language of Nigerians. So that they will use the right words to be able to convince Nigerians, okay, this is where we are heading to. This is where we are, and this is where we are heading to.
Jami, I again, just before we move over to our next subject, let's look at this same Nigeria and the great expectation we talked about. The Tinubu factor. Remember, it took quite some time before the cabinet was constituted. Yeah. And you got to hear things like, Tinubu's choice of ministers, blah, 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 and so on. Was that necessary?
Yeah, was it necessary? You see, like we've all said, we are quick to make conjectures here. Most of the people in the cabinet, so to say, are Tinubu's creation. Fahmi became governor of the state through the support of Tinubu. Fashola, of course, was
his man.
Became a governor of, and Fowler, the man in the tax man now, is doing wonderfully well.
Okay, but yeah, sorry, we have a phone call from Maiduguri. I hear Kabiru, am I right? Please.
Abdul.
Abdul from Maiduguri, please, let's go. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Abdul, are you there?
Yeah, good evening.
No luck, better luck next time. Yeah, so. Okay, looks like he's here. Sorry about that.
So as I was saying, Nigerians will find a way of to say something about a non-existent fiction. But then, like we all agreed, the expectations are so high, but Nigerians are quick to forget that in 16 years we are having fuel crisis almost on a yearly basis, even when we were paying about 1.2 billion naira daily as subsidy. Now, a report from the Nigerian Bureau of Nigerian Office of Statistics just last week said the payment of subsidies on fuel has stopped, and the NNPC just released a data that they have stored up about 2 billion liters of fuel from now till January, that there won't be any fuel scarcity during the festive period. It has not happened in the last 3 years. The fertilizer scam that we see on a yearly basis, that has stopped, and a lot of other things that are going on. But then,
so, I'm sorry, I must interject. Oyebami is here in Lagos. He has called. Oyebami, are you there? Let's get talking. Yeah, welcome.
Please, I want to join this man. What's the name of the man that got?
You mean the panelist here? Oh dear. All right.
So we have been so bashed during the 16 year of the PDP that we were looking for quick fixes. But then the president was quick to tell us when he assumed office that it's not going to be magic. It's going to be slow and gradual. But then I think the president was slow in forming his cabinet and slow in taking some decisions. I listened to Gabashew this morning when he said, well, he has a lot of facts that he's dealing with, but then I think the president should move faster in taking certain decisions. I don't think it should take him 6 months to do certain things. To do certain things. I mean, 6 months.
I was just going to say, I'm sorry.
6 months to sack.
To remove.
I was just going to say there are many Nigerians viewing in now who would dismiss what you're saying. Look, leave the PDP alone. Is it possible to move ahead?
There's no way we can divorce the future from the past. We have to look at where we are coming from. At the point. If you say we won't look at the past, then we will continue to pay fuel subsidy when the fuel is not available. So some of these loopholes, some of these holes are being blocked, and the people who are responsible for such subsidy scam in the past are not happy. So they must look for excuses, to look for frictions where there are none, and stuff like that.
Let's go to another call is here. Kano, Mohammed is in Kano. Welcome, Mohammed. How are you? Are we in business, Mohammed? Please bear with us. We have a little challenge with the line, but keep trying. Keep trying. Yeah, sure. So
like I was rounding up, Nigerians, why we should try to exercise patience with the government, but then the government too, or rather the president should be faster in taking certain decisions. I mean, the election was won in March. Between March and May, when he was sworn in, we expected that he would have put some cabinet together.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had situations in Trump formed his cabinet. I mean, before he was sworn in, the same way the guy in France.
Yeah, but the Nigerian experience is different from ours.
Yes, but then we should
because
start.
We have so many interests, so many.
We should start changing some of
interest.
Yeah,
and influence too.
So we have to get things. What of in the case of the SGF, for example? I mean, I keep saying this. It shouldn't take 6 months. The report was submitted by the VP shortly before the president traveled, and we also have
on that. Can I quickly say something? I think
before the break, we must go on a break.
Yeah, we should also remember that the president has been in and out of the country. You know, I mean, for him to really, make such decision, he really has to sit down for a week or two.
Okay. But we had the acting president.
All right, it's okay. It's okay. Look, but the debate must continue. We'll keep talking about the country. If everybody thinks the same way, then nobody's thinking. Yeah. So we'll keep discussing this country. We'll take this break and return. Please don't go away. And when we come back, federal government rejects Diezani application for trial in Nigeria. You want to stay tuned. All right, folks, welcome back. Now, these are definitely not the best of times for the immediate past substantive Petroleum Resources Minister, Diezani Alison-Madueke. The former influential minister, currently in London, where she's being investigated for money laundering offenses, is praying the Federal High Court in Lagos to order the federal authorities to facilitate her return to the country to stand trial. But she adds she must be made a defendant in the matter and that her name be removed from the charge sheet. The prosecution said the former minister allegedly shared $115 million, that's about 35 million naira, to different individuals in 36 states ahead of the 2015 general elections. Our attorney, Barrister Onyechi Ikpeazu, insists it's in the interest of justice and fair play to hear her. Majid, nobody enjoys what's playing out here. Does she have a case here?
I wonder why you are throwing Diezani's case to me first.
Okay, I go to the woman.
Oh my God!
No, but then I will attempt.
No, let's go.
It's been quite funny. You know why she's saying she wants to be tried in Nigeria? Well, 2 reasons. Of course, she's quite aware of the judicial system in Nigeria, where you can have 250 cases and, 250
that's not complimentary.
Yeah, of course, it's not. But then that's what's happening. We've had instances where somebody had a 250 file count charge in Nigeria, was discharged and acquitted.
Yeah, but it's the prosecution. The prosecution is always a problem, Jamil.
Well, yeah, but in this case, she had a case where she was joined as a co-defendant with Gidi Omokore, where she was declared as being at large.
Yeah.
So the case was struck out. because it was not properly filed. Now, in the one with Dele Begore, a senior advocate of Nigeria, our counsel, Onyechi Ipeazu, now said it was an embarrassment to his client that in the other suit in another court, why would she be described as being at large when actually nobody told her that she had a suit in court? That in this case, they should invite her. Actually, she filed that suit that she wants the EFCC to bring her to Nigeria to come and face judgment and defend herself in the Dele Begore suit, where she was alleged to have distributed $115 million, an equivalent of 35 billion naira, to electoral officers and some individuals in all the 36 states of the Federation and Abuja.
And the FCT,
during, and during the 2015 presidential poll. And of course, we have had situations where some of the INEC officials have been found guilty, and the case is still in court. A New Generation Bank was also involved, and where they used the bank as the conduit where some of these monies were delivered. But whether she had the right or not to be brought back to Nigeria, the EFCC, as an agent of the federal government in that suit, has said no, she should stay in the UK and face a judgment there, and the court will give a final ruling on that tomorrow. But I think, to me, if she really wants to come to Nigeria, let her come in. At least we've had instances of, I mean, of course, she's quite aware of the fact that when you come back to Nigeria, after some camaraderie, after about a few appearances, you'll be released.
Stella, he's not speaking for you.
He's not speaking for me. I actually want to say that this case is in court. I rather want the court to decide if she should be brought back to Nigeria or not. And let me play the devil's advocate here. Why is she willing or eager to come back home? Because she understands our judicial system. She understands the way, we work here. We delay justice. This case can go on for years if it's here, unlike the UK system where everything is standard. I think she's afraid of going the way an ex-governor of this country also went. She knew that if she's facing trial, she's been asked to face the trial in UK, that the UK judicial system is not like ours. You go to court, you defend yourself, and if you're found guilty, you go to jail. Unlike here, where you can drag your case, for years. I think she knew that if she comes back home, she may, if not go scot-free, get a lighter
50-50,
judgment.
Exactly.
So it's a 50-50 thing. She knew she'd be better off if she comes home.
Asoko, this is not necessarily true. Otherwise, the man viewing in and listening to us would suggest nothing is changing in Nigeria.
See, in terms of the judiciary, nothing is really changing until we see somebody highly placed being prosecuted. Because for her to say, I want to come to Nigeria, and she's insisting that she wants to come to Nigeria, it means that there's something that is fishy. It is this same country that we were sitting, a convict or somebody,
a suspect.
A suspect was acquitted. Not even, I'm even going towards the governor that even went to UK, actually built a high court in his own state for a judge, for his own case. Is in this same Nigeria. So you can just factor that in and say, okay, why is she insisting? Because the EFCC, when she was in Nigeria, the EFCC tried as much as possible to let her come and answer for this allegation. But she didn't. She was just dodging and dodging until she, left for the UK. Because if you conduct a poll today concerning this case, Nigerians will tell you that she should just face everything she wants to face in the UK. Except otherwise, I've not seen. yes, we have a new CGN, but we have not seen, since he was appointed as the CGN, we have not seen anybody that has been prosecuted
James,
in terms of
you are expecting a magic wand from somewhere. All four of us must not be on the same page.
Okay.
The thing is, that is what I'm saying.
All four of us must not be on the same page.
Maybe let's look at it from this angle.
Yes.
She's even insisting coming home.
She says, I should not be on the charge sheet. Yeah.
So what gave her
but
such
it is
confidence?
her right.
Okay. Give it to her.
Yes.
Maybe there's more to this story that we don't know.
Maybe she has more to tell us.
Maybe she has more to tell us. But I want to believe that Nigeria has, this agreement with the UK, judicial system.
Extradition.
They don't have to extradite her. We can as well ask her to defend herself over there. I want to believe there should be an arrangement between our country and UK. Because it's our citizen that is, and it's our money that we're even complaining about. So I think there's more to why she's insisting, she wants to come back home. The only reason that I know is because she knew Nigeria, she knows Nigeria, and she's so confident that when she comes home, things will go away.
I wonder the sudden 360. About a year ago, recall that this same Diezani wrote appealing to Nigerians that they should pray for her, that she's undergoing therapy for cancer. So, as that suddenly changed, or as she suddenly realized, or as she suddenly recovered, or as she suddenly realized that she's closer to jail over there, so to say, because in the UK system, they will tell you, if you prolong this judgment further, the chances are that they will incur more money in your prosecution, and that would elongate your stay in prison. So, and that was what they gave the that former governor. He had to plead guilty. Yes, sir. So
we have an Adebisi at the telephone. Adebisi, are you there? Good evening. Welcome. Yeah. Let's go.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on air. Let's go.
So, am I with you?
Oh dear.
Yes, go on.
Come on, we're in business.
Come on. As we are saying, in respect of this country, this is a country for all of us. We are all Nigerians. Let Buhari treat issue in Nigeria as it's supposed to be. Living this man in the UK, I don't think it's proper. Let us come together and resolve our issue ourselves, and we involving foreign people. If you help us to come together, just as people are there together now, talk in this country. I like what people are doing. That's why I just let me say first. Okay.
Okay. Well, she has a money laundering case in UK,
which is still facing trial.
Which is still running. So it's not as if, and that's the EFCC is saying she should conclude her money laundering case in the UK before coming to face the one in Nigeria. That we are not in a hurry. So I think we need to.
I think that's what the EFCC, the standard.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a case, you tackle that case. When you are through with that, they will not decide if you come back home.
Time is the master here, but then I'm not bound by any law, written or unwritten, to agree with you. The impression must not be created that our country is not changing. Okay. But let's quickly go to the last, not the least, subject matter. The Chief of Army Staff, General Tukur Buratai, yesterday ordered the redeployment of troops who took part in the special military exercise in the Niger Delta to the Lake Chad region. The Army Chief gave the order at the close of exercise Crocodile Smile 2 at Iguruta in the Ikwere LGA of Rivers State. Now, the mission is to tackle remnants of the Boko Haram insurgents in the area. Threats from insurgents are an embarrassment to both the government and people of Nigeria, gentlemen. Yeah. So, Jami, if I start with you, here we are. The threats of Boko Haram.
Yes, there has been renewed threats in the past few weeks from the insurgents. In fact, the United Nations actually said 3 local governments were inaccessible in Yobe, and I think we have said it several times on this program that we need, instead of concentrating on Crocodile Smile in the Niger Delta region, I think we need more of the soldiers in the Lake Chad region. I think that is what the Chief of Army Staff is responding to. And I think it's good to deploy the troops over there where they are more needed. Well, there's the need to secure all parts of the country from insurgents both within and outside, but then I think the Boko Haram scourge has been a serious one, especially given the fact that in the past few days we've had a lot of ambushes and also the new cases of suicide bomb attacks, which needs to be curbed, because now what they do is they come out, they attack and go back into the bush. It's like they are regrouping again in the Lake Chad region. That's why it specifically says the soldiers involved in Operation Crocodile Smile 2 should be drafted back to the Lake Chad.
Stella, away from the military engagement, you know, not to play it down anyway, but how did we get here? I mean, most of the time we tend to cure the causes and not the cause.
And that is why I actually would like us to look at the fact that it's a good decision, because we're thinking about retraining and retraining our soldiers. For years back, I mean, it's rare when you hear of a soldier saying, I'm just back from a training course. I think asking them to go to Lake Chad, one is to train them. Remember when this Boko Haram issue came, it caught them unawares. They were not prepared. Our soldiers were not just ready. So asking them to go into Lake Chad, it's in the right, step. One, they're going to be trained, they're going to retrain themselves, and they're also going to understudy, the area. Because we keep saying, okay, then it was Sambisa Forest. The soldiers said, oh, they are no longer in Sambisa Forest, which may not be totally true. They are actually moving away from, Then Lake Chad, and there's this issue of, there's this comment that most of the people that come in, the insurgents, may not really be Nigerians. They may be people who had, filtered into our country from these, borders. Yes, these borders. So asking them to go into Lake Chad, they must also have, gotten their own information that they need to go there to prepare themselves, train themselves, understudy the operations in that arena, and also, face the real, where the real problem is. Remember, we're talking about ISIS, you're talking about Boko Haram, you're talking about the terrorists. You hear that most of them, they are from maybe Lake Chad, they are, working in. So asking them to go into Lake Chad, it's a right step as far as I'm concerned.
James, quickly, we can't run away from it. I don't know why Stella dodged it, but I'm saying Boko Haram was a creation of the political class.
No,
come on.
It's not.
Look, let's go to Al-Qaeda in America.
Okay.
Politics had a part to play there. No, that's the angle
we can rule out politics
because
even the militants and
Boko Haram, the name
Boko Haram. If you're talking about the militants, yes, but not terrorists. Because I don't think a government...
If you look at the guy that started it, the guy that started it was part of the government then.
Yes.
Then. That's Mohammed Yusuf.
In that case, we were still...
Listen, I am saying Nigeria didn't get to know about the Boko Haram scourge until recently. So it's a creation. It's a creation. It came from somewhere. So it's about curing the cause. The cause. This is what I mean, James.
It will be very difficult for us to cure it. Very, very difficult. It's just like the militants in the Niger Delta. They always demand for things.
Are you saying militancy in the Niger Delta was not avoidable?
It was avoidable because they actually
theirs is even different because theirs is more about development.
Yes.
We are getting something from them, but we are not giving them anything. Now, in the case of this...
Al-Qaeda was not avoidable?
Al-Qaeda was avoidable.
That's where I'm coming from.
It was. Now, but for this Mohammed, let's not begin to go outside Nigeria.
We are not
talking about Nigeria.
Because we want to talk about Nigeria. For the Mohammed Yusuf, he was part and parcel of a government. How he actually fell out with the government is still a mystery. Whether he had, what is it called? He had like an
agreement with
an agreement, disagreed, and eventually they wanted to take him out. Nobody knows. So it is left for the government to now look at what really happened. Okay. Then they begin to look at, okay, was it more about money? What was it about? Was it more of religion or money or whatever? For us to be able to know, okay, how did this Boko Haram? But to me, and I know that Mohammed Yusuf, from all what I've read, was part and parcel of the government at that time.
In Borno
State. Yeah. It was. So what happened between him and the government at that time still remains a mystery to today. Now, let's go back to the Lake Chad.
Was one, especially given the fact that in the past few days, we've had a lot of ambushes and also the new cases of suicide bomb attacks, which needs to be curbed. Because now what they do is they come out, they attack and go back into the bush. It's like they are regrouping again in the Lake Chad region. Yeah. That's why he specifically says the soldiers involved in Operation Crocodile Smile 2 should be drafted back to the Lake Chad.
Stella, away from the military engagement, you know, not to play it down anyway, but how did we get here? I mean, most of the time, we tend to cure the causes and not the cause.
And that is why I actually would like us to look at the fact that it's a good decision, because we're thinking about retraining and retraining our soldiers. For years back, I mean, it's rare when you hear of a soldier saying, I'm just back from a training course. I think asking them to go to Lake Chad, one is to train them. Remember when this Boko Haram issue came, it caught them unawares. They were not prepared. Our soldiers were not just ready. So asking them to go into Lake Chad, it's in the right, step. One, they're going to be trained, they're going to retrain themselves, and they're also going to understudy, the area. Because we keep saying, okay, then it was Sambisa Forest. The soldiers said, oh, they are no longer in Sambisa Forest, which may not be totally true. They are actually moving away from, Then Lake Chad, and there's this issue of, there's this comment that most of the people that come in, the insurgents, may not really be Nigerians. They may be people who had, filtered into our country from these, borders. Yes, these borders. So asking them to go into Lake Chad, they must also have, gotten their own information that they need to go there to prepare themselves, train themselves, understudy the operations in that arena, and also, face the real, where the real problem is. Remember, we're talking about ISIS, you're talking about Boko Haram, you're talking about the terrorists. You hear that most of them, they are from maybe Lake Chad, they are, working in. So asking them to go into Lake Chad, it's a right step as far as I'm concerned.
James, quickly, we can't run away from it. I don't know why Stella dodged it, but I'm saying Boko Haram was a creation of the political class.
No,
come on.
It's not.
Look, let's go to Al-Qaeda in America.
Okay.
Politics had a part to play there. No, that's the angle I'm
rule out politics
because
even the militants and
Boko Haram, the name
Boko Haram. You're talking about the militants, yes, but not terrorists. Because I don't think a government...
If you look at the guy that started it, the guy that started it was part of the government then.
Yes.
That's Mohammed Yusuf.
Well, in that case, we were still...
Listen, I am saying Nigeria didn't get to know about the Boko Haram scourge until recently. So it's a creation. It's a creation. It came from somewhere. So it's about curing the cause. The cause. This is what I mean, James.
It will be very difficult for us to cure it. Very, very difficult. It's just like the militants in the Niger Delta. They always demand for things.
Are you saying militancy in the Niger Delta was not avoidable?
It was avoidable because they actually
theirs is even different because theirs is more about development.
Yes.
We are getting something from them, but we are not giving them anything. Now, in the case of this...
Al-Qaeda was not avoidable?
Al-Qaeda was avoidable.
That's where I'm coming from.
It was. Now, but for this Mohammed, let's not begin to go outside.
We are not
talking about Nigeria.
Because we want to talk about Nigeria. For the
Mohammed
Yusuf, he was part and parcel of a government. How he actually fell out with the government is still a mystery. Whether he had, what is it called? He had like an agreement with an agreement, disagreed, and eventually they wanted to take him out. Nobody knows. So it is left for the government to now look at what really happened. Okay. Then they begin to look at, okay, was it more about money? What was it about? Was it more of religion or money or whatever? For us to be able to know, okay, how did this Boko Haram? But to me, and I know that Mohammed Yusuf, from all what I've read, was part and parcel of the government at that time.
In Borno
State. Yeah. It was. So what happened between him and the government at that time still remains a mystery to today. Now, let's go back to the Lake Chad, because it's the Lake Chad now that I want to. Now, the Lake Chad region happens to be one of the most unsafest region in the northeast, because that is...
And it's a vast area.
Very vast, because it has 5 local governments around there. 5 local governments are around that region. And thank God, this government has been able to have a naval base around there now. The Air Force is also building something, and that is why the Chief of Army Staff is trying to also send the special military force there, so that they'll be able to contain that region. It was that same area, that same Lake Chad region that we lost close to 48 people, including soldiers, civilian JTF, as well as those lecturers, who are going for oil exploration, where the Nigerian army then, the spokesman was saying they've been able to rescue and he goofed and all that. Now, going there, sending troops there is going to stop them from, because that is where Boko Haram survives. They're mostly fishing, they are mostly fishermen there.
That's been disrupted.
That has totally been disrupted because of the naval base as well as the Air Force. So now sending the soldiers there, they will be the ones to do the legwork. While the air is doing this, the sea will be doing, and then the legwork will be done.
Sorry, one last call now. Oluyomi Ogun State is on the line. Are you there, sir? Welcome.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Let me take a very quick one. First of all, let me start with the issue of the president. I want to agree with all of you there, partially. But somehow, like my brother talked about, because of the investment we put into the president, we are somehow in a hurry to see a magic being performed by the president. Nobody is expecting the president to perform any magic, but for God's sake, let there be standards. The kind of approach that the president should use to fight corruption, there should not be any sacred cow.
Yeah.
My first cousin, my blah, blah, blah.
Except that, we had since placed the lead on that angle, but then we want to thank you very kindly for your time. We want to thank you very, very, very kindly. Jamie, one last line before we go.
Yes, I believe that we need more of strategy to combat the remnants of Boko Haram in the Lake Chad region, because of the uneven topography of that place, and it is such that the Boko Haram insurgents understands that terrain very much. And like Stella said, we have some incursions from neighboring countries, Cameroon, Niger, and Chad into Nigeria from our porous borders in those areas. So I think the Chief of Army Staff has done well by deploying those special contingent of troops there, so that at least I think the
Stella, and we need a tripartite.
Yes,
Cameroon, Chad, Niger must be involved.
Yes, and for our soldiers too, I want to believe that they understand their rule of engagement.
Yeah.
We don't want them to go there and mess up with the civilians. They should understand or study or understand why they are being sent to Lake Chad. It is to help curb, whatever these terrorists are doing, and they should please make sure that we don't have casualties they should understand that, well, Lake Chad is not everybody in Lake Chad, I mean, is a criminal. We know what happens when you send soldiers to a particular area.
Okay.
So we don't want them to bring us bad reports.
Okay. James,
I think the military, they are going to do everything humanly possible or militarily possible to make sure that Lake Chad peace returns, because the IDPs, they want to go back home, but they can't go back. And remember, the Lake Chad region, they said they found oil there, so they want to explore what is there. That's another thing. So Burate has to make sure that his men return peace to that region.
Okay, I must stop all you guys here. Moji Jamiu, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Stella Sawyer.
Thank you so much.
I used to see you on TV until now. Now we are here. Asoko James, thank you. All right, gentlemen, we must pack it all in here. Television, like any medium of information, will provoke debates, stimulate them, especially in the national good. That's Hangout for today. Another program is on tomorrow. But watch for the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You also can watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen, and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Jones Hussein. Bye for now, and bless you.